Hello everyone, my name is Jiawei Zhao, and in this presentation, I'm going to summarize my project's purpose, the hypothesis, and design reasoning, as well as the results so far. So first, let's start with the project purpose. My title is to analyze the potential factors affecting forest coverage of different countries. And I have three hypotheses. The first one is there would be a negative correlation between the agricultural land held by a country and its forest coverage. The second one is similar to the first one, which is there will be a negative correlation between the GDP and the forest coverage of a country. And the third one is if a country consumes more meat per capita, the country would have a lower forest coverage. And the following four are the sources used in my project. Now let's move on to the design reasoning. Firstly, nowadays we focus too much on the economic development, so we tend to overlook the influences we brought to the nature. And the first hypothesis is I assume if the proportion of the agricultural land in the country has been increasing for years, its forest coverage would also decreased for years. Since my sample data has over 200 countries and regions, I decided to first work out the average change rate of each country's forest coverage and the agricultural land coverage. Then if the two change rates of a country are the same direction, I can say that they are positively correlated, which is if the change rate of the two variables are both positive or both negative, I can say they are positively correlated. Finally, I calculate how many of them is negatively correlated and how many of them is positively correlated to see whether the hypothesis is correct. For this part, I'm not quite sure whether my method is correct, so I'm very willing to hear from you if you have better ideas. Also, I eliminate the nans from my total number. The nan means the data is incompleted. So the second hypothesis I simply investigated the relationship between GDP and the forest coverage. The third one is the reason behind this one is since the livestock requires agriculture land, so I guess if a country consumes more meat, they need more lands, and so the forest coverage would be lower. And then let's see the results so far. The first one is nearly 70% of countries have a negative correlation between the agricultural land coverage and the forest coverage. And then, as I mentioned, I eliminate the nans in the total number. So if not eliminate the nans, the figure would be around 64%. It's still we can still accept the hypothesis. And the second one is I picked year 2008 to do the analysis. If we draw a scatter plot of every country, we can get a moderate positively correlated plot between the two variables. But if we want to see it more clearly, I group by the data by the column income level, which is to divide countries into different groups with different income levels. And I got this graph which shows a strong positively correlated relationship between the two variables. So we can also accept the second hypothesis as well. For the last one, although we plot the two graph and use the same method we use in the second hypothesis, it clearly shows that there is no linear correlation between the two variables. So we reject the third hypothesis. And in my code, only the talk test and the comments are not complete yet. and I hope to get great advice from you guys. Thank you.